You know, in a movie about a family trying to survive a robot apocalypse and save the last of humanity, I never thought that the biggest takeaway would be this cute little dog. Oh my gosh, at least I think he's a dog. He might be a pig or a loaf of bread. I'm still figuring that one out. What's going on, you guys? James here with another Real Review, and today we're taking a look at the latest animated film that you're not going to want to miss, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which hits Netflix on April 30th. It's a Sony Animated Pictures movie, but it's getting its distribution via Netflix, and trust me, after all the delays, this one was worth it. It's directed by Rianda and Rowe and stars Abbi, Jacobson, Maya Rudolph, and Danny McBride. There are many more actors, and we'll talk about that soon, but if you don't know what this movie's about, let's dive into it just a little bit. The Mitchells are a family who is dysfunctional, unusual, weird, yet loving. But when a robot apocalypse threatens the Earth and tries to wipe out humanity, can the Mitchells put aside their differences and save the world? Let me tell you, if that description sold you, trust me, the final product is even better. But before we get into what worked in this film and the one thing that I didn't like about the movie, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I talk about movies early like this all the time, so you're not going to want to miss out. Go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell so you'll be the first one in the comments whenever I drop a new video. Smash that thumbs up button as well, guys, and if you haven't, let me know down below what you think of this movie. Did this film make you smile just like it's making me smile right now, or were you a little disappointed? Alrighty guys, so let's hop right into this film, which is, like I've been saying, such a treat. And I knew it right off the bat because the introduction to the Mitchell family is cute, it's funny, and all of the on-screen art graphics were so unique. It reminded me of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World in a way, you know? But this movie has a very unique spin and a very distinct style. And honestly guys, the best animated movies sometimes appeal to both kids and adults, and this film definitely caters to both demographics. There are some jokes here that will go way over the head of kids, but adults will grasp onto them, and then there are moments that'll resonate with children that maybe adults might think, we've seen this before, but kids will really love it. So you kind of have to take yourself out of your own situation if you're an adult and think, would a child love this? And the answer most of the time is yes. And the reason that this movie floats so well for me was the absolutely awesome direction by Rianda and Rowe. Both of them worked effortlessly together, and they delivered such a very unique movie. It's something that we needed in 2021, a great escape, but boy, this movie was just so darn good and also kind of layered. And that distinct style we talked about, guys, it fascinated me, and it moved at such a hyper fast pace, but it never really felt exhausting. And kudos to Greg Levitan, who was the editor on this film, and I feel like all the transitions from scene to scene were so easy to just really digest, and I never felt like I was overwhelmed. Even though there were a lot of things going on screen, I was still able to just grasp everything, capture it, enjoy the moment. I love the look of the animation too, which is sometimes resembling art straight out of a comic book. I don't know if this is the proper phrase, so correct me if I'm wrong, but there were hints of cell shading going on, and I thought it looked kind of cool. And man, I don't know what happened, but for a moment I thought, oh my gosh, is this a traditional 3D animated film, or are there some hand-drawn elements? And I think it's a little bit of both. And even though Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who were responsible for the Lego movie, were only producers on this film, I could definitely sense their influence over some of the more comical moments. Trust me, their brand of humor is slapped all over this movie, and man, is it better for it. But seriously guys, I wish I could have seen this on the big screen, because all of those colors, the vibrance of this movie really would have been magnified. So guys, let's get into the voice acting, because that can sometimes make or break an animated film, and in this case, oh boy, were they just amazing together. Everyone in the cast just worked and played off of one another almost perfectly. I loved all the humor, honestly, and from start to finish, I felt every joke landed for me because of the voice acting and the delivery. So in case you're unfamiliar with the Mitchell family, they're voiced by Danny McBride, who plays Rick. You have Maya Rudolph, who voices Linda, Abbi Jacobson, who voices the daughter Katie, and Rianda, who voices Aaron, the baby brother who's into dinosaurs. The raptor thingy, I think it's still so cute. And their dynamic was just infectious. I felt every ounce of emotion, whether it be quirky jokes, serious moments, or even some more sentimental dialogue. It was all just tied perfectly together, and I do love that the supporting cast, there are some amazing names here, they were just able to even get 2 or 3 minutes of screen time and make it count. You have John Legend, Olivia Colman, Chrissy Teigen, Eric Andre, and even Blake Griffin. Yeah, Blake Griffin. But there are 2 characters in this movie that are voiced by Fred Armisen, who just really took my breath away, and honestly, because I was laughing so hard, the Robot Brothers. There's this deadpan style of delivery that just works so well for me. You'll see it. I don't want to spoil anything, but let me just tell you guys, their arc in this movie was one of the more hilarious arcs of the entire film. Oh, and I can't forget the incredible Monchi, the family's dog. Or is it a pig or a loaf of bread? I'm still figuring that one out. But seriously, this dog stole every scene he was a part of, and there's a hilarious home video or home movie that Katie makes that just took my breath away. Again, guys, it's hard to put into words how much I love this movie, but I love it. And I know we haven't talked about it yet, but I gotta sing the praises of the script here because the writing is so clever. Now, I wasn't always falling over in gut-busting laughter, but every joke was at least enjoyable, whether I was laughing at the top of my lungs or I was just smirking or chuckling. It just all kind of came together and provided some great entertainment value, and I was surprised at the layer of this story because there are some very serious moments that address family and family values and loved ones. It just made me smile and I got close to tears, I won't lie to you. There's also this area of the script where there's a bit of social commentary on the dependence of technology and how we're always digging our faces into our phones. I can relate to it. I gotta stop doing that so often, don't I? Even though it is predictable, I was never bored with it thanks to these funny pauses or breaks in the action. There are moments where the animation kind of stops and then we get these hilarious instrumentals in the background and these awesome on-screen graphics. There are so many departures from the main story that really work, and instead of serving as a distraction, they just add to the film. Alright guys, so let's get into the one negative now that I have for this film. Honestly, it feels like a crime to even talk bad about the Mitchells versus the Machines, but there's one thing that I didn't like too much, and that is when we get into the second act, the story loses just a little bit of momentum, and that's because the film is focusing on that predictability element to it, the family-centric story, and it's not anything we haven't seen before. It's not unusual and hardly unique, but the story itself can sometimes get just a little boring and it loses momentum in that second act, but luckily we're snapped out of it. It's a very minor moment and I didn't feel like that for more than 5 minutes. But guys, I was still glued to my seat and onto the screen because I wanted to just experience the entire film, and luckily this little negative does not hinder the experience in any way. So overall, you guys, The Mitchells vs. the Machines is a film I absolutely loved, and it is my favorite animated movie of the year. Yes, over Raya and the Last Dragon. And I'll say so far because we still got Luca to come, right? So I'm still holding out hope that Luca can be one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm not biased because I'm Italian, but still. And The Mitchells vs. the Machines is currently in my top 5 of 2021. That's how much this movie really impacted me. I was just a big fan of the voice acting, which was completely infectious and full of high energy. And then there's the directing and the writing here where every joke to me just worked. And even the slower moments, especially in the second half, like I mentioned, were not enough for me to be brought down. The animation style is really unique and I love all of the hand-drawn graphics on screen. The visuals were just a treat. So if you're a fan of fast-paced animated movies where the story feels like it's layered enough to appeal both to kids and to adults, The Mitchells vs. the Machines is going to be for you. And I'm not gonna lie guys, the voice acting here was just so darn good. I mean, we've been saying it all review, but man, I think this cast was perfect for the film, and I'm just so glad that they were able to bring together each of these actors and actresses because it just made the experience that much better. So if you're asking me guys, it's a 4.5 out of 5. It's a strong 4.5 out of 5. It's my first 4.5 out of 5 since Raya and the Last Dragon, I believe. So go figure. Man, I don't know what it is, but The Mitchells vs. the Machines is going to be on my TV again somehow, some way this weekend because it is just that good. So guys, there you have it. That's my real review of The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which is again streaming on Netflix this Friday. So don't miss it. And also, when you see it, go ahead and get loud in the comments below and let me know what you think of this film. And if you enjoyed this review and you want much more content like this, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell, guys. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun talking about this movie, but I still could not get that stupid, adorable little face of Monchi out of my head. Alright, I'll stop. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.